What is happening, ladies and gentlemen? We back here, back with some more NBA, but this time NBA Summer League. NBA Summer League has just ended. The Golden State Warriors have won the NBA Summer League championship of this year. MVP will go to Yaxel Lendeborg, who has been hooping this entire Summer League, but not just him that was hooping, a lot of guys in particular who was hooping. So who were the biggest standouts in the NBA Summer League this year? Let's roll into it.
Touch that tram, mama said pray then push, pop said grind on wish, coach said line up run, whole life drawn up off that pitch, court chalk on my socks, bus pass in my sock too, lunch card in my pocket dreams that I walk through, crossover on the clear lane, try to cross over my fear same, every brick that I threw up, built the backbone of my name.
We run the floor, we run the floor, we don't back down, we don't back down, every fall that we fail, put the strength in us now. Heads to the sky, heads to the sky, voices in one sound.
First up, the MVP. Pretty hard to ignore this guy, Yaxel Lendeborg. Obviously named MVP, and he was named the top player of the event. Yaxel, he led the Warriors to a 94-90 clinching victory in the final game of the NBA Summer League against the Grizzlies with Cameron Boozer, who was also hooping. We will get to him in a second, and that earned them the championship to go with an impressive all-around play. But I really do like Yaxel. I think he will provide a lot to the Golden State Warriors. He has great playmaking. He's a great shooter. And the Warriors, they need to get young. Now, I understand there was a whole bunch of stuff going on with them in the offseason. Draymond Green took the pay cut thinking that they were going to get LeBron, but turns out they're 100% not getting LeBron James or AD. And I did make a short about that, saying that the Warriors, they need to get young. They have to stop trying to get old. They already got an old coach who has the same exact mentality of his old coaching back in the mid-2010s. He has to stop having that same exact mentality. I'm talking about Steve Kerr, obviously. But the Warriors, they're keep going to get young and young and young. Curry, he's still in this young core, and he plans on retiring as a Golden State Warrior. I simply don't see Stephen Curry going to any other team in the league except staying with Golden State. But Yaxel Lendeborg, I think he's one of the best rookies who can hopefully try to get the job done and make the Warriors even more relevant going into the 2027 season. In this Summer League, he averaged 14.8 points, 7.2 rebounds. And that's another thing we're going to say too. They definitely need more rebounding. Now, they do have Porzingis. Al Horford, he's on his last leg, so I don't really have too much faith in him. Draymond Green, he's still doing his thing in terms of being a dirty player and also trying to keep the team alive with his entire mentality on defense. But having more rebounding for Golden State is definitely going to be good, and even having a lot more scoring as well. So if they can have Yaxel just average at least over 30% from three-point in this next season, then the Warriors will hopefully win a lot more games and hopefully not become a play-in team like they were the past couple years. Next guy, his season got shut down early, Dybantsa. Obviously the first overall pick to the Washington Wizards. He's been doing his thing in the NBA Summer League. He's been averaging 25 points a game, 7 rebounds a game, 2 assists, racking in 2 steals, and 1.5 blocks. And if you know me, I've been talking about the Wizards a lot recently because I think they have contender potential in the East. Now, even though the East is looking a little more tougher than it did the past couple of years, I think the Wizards could potentially be in somewhat of contender. At least over playing tournament spots. Maybe 6th seed, maybe 5th seed, something like that. The Wizards, they also need an offensive engine. They do have Trae Young on their squad still. They do have Anthony Davis a little bit in there for scoring. Alex Sarr is in there for scoring. They got a bunch of bench depth going along with that. And I think Dybantsa is exactly the guy they need to. Also, a guy who can do both things on the basketball court. Having a 7-foot wingspan and doing his thing on defense, which is exactly why he was able to rack in 2.5 steals and 1.5 blocks a game. That's going to be great for the team who already has pretty good defense. Now, Anthony Davis, I always have this conversation with this guy. Everyone has this conversation with this dude. The injuries are concerning. And DeAndre Ayton, we got a little more scoring, a lot more defense. But at the same time, you are lazy. So those two in particular need to do their things defensively. And Dybantsa, I think he's going to do his thing defensively as well, but he can also become an offensive engine for the Wizards. So Trae Young is not all completely by himself on the scoring end. But Dybantsa, he is the biggest #1 pick right now, and we will see how his progress will go going into the 2026-2027 season, and I'm really excited to see it too. But there is a little motto here. It is rumored that this team will keep this team until the All-Star break, so if there's no improvement until the All-Star break, then that team is going to implode, specifically with AD and DeAndre Ayton. But what AJ Dybantsa provides and what he's going to provide for the Wizards going into next season is going to be special. So let's hope and pray that the Wizards are somewhat relevant. Next up, the guy who took the loss in the Summer League Championship, Cameron Boozer. You cannot sleep on this kid too. Cameron Boozer's been averaging 18 points a game, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. He's been doing his thing in the Summer League. Solid stats as well. And the Memphis Grizzlies are going into a new era. They have traded Ja Morant to the Portland Trail Blazers, so now they're not really that relevant anymore. But with Cameron Boozer starting up the new era of Memphis Grizzlies basketball is going to be hopefully special, because he's going to provide elite passing. He has high basketball IQ. He has great front court rebounding. He can do his thing on the offensive side. Rebounding is going to be a little tough, obviously, for the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, even though they do have Zach Edey in there, he's going to need a little bit of help. But I do like the fit of Cameron Boozer and Zach Edey. Zach Edey, he's just tall. He really doesn't really have like the best footwork, like a Victor Wembanyama footwork. He doesn't really have that. He's just tall and he can move in on defense. So he can do his thing right there. And he's big too, so if he can play a little more aggressive offensively, then the Grizzlies will have a chance. So the Grizzlies, they're just trying to, it's just bits and pieces for them right now. They're trying to get all their draft picks. They're trying to build a whole new squad, because I always thought they were trying to build around Ja Morant and it didn't work. So now it's time for a new era for Memphis Grizzlies basketball. And it's all going to start with Cameron Boozer, depending on how he plays in the 27th season. But I really do like Cameron Boozer as a player. I think he's going to provide a lot for this Grizzlies team. He's going to try and make them relevant, because they've been having so much disappointments left and right. First round of the playoffs, second round of the playoffs, not even Western Conference Finals contenders. I don't think they are going to be this year, because the West is also pretty tough, but we will see what happens. But this kid is going to be something special. The Chicago Bulls racking in Caleb Wilson. That's simply unstoppable. And I think Chicagoans, they're going to love this kid a lot, because Chicago's looking like a real iffy team right now. They do have a young core build in the squad, and Rob Dillingham, Jaden Ivey, and a whole bunch of guys going along with them. And I think Caleb Wilson is going to be the exact guy they need. They're still in their youth. Caleb Wilson, he averaged 23.5 points a game, 7.3 rebounds, 2.5 blocks, and 1.3 steals. So they have great defense, and he's also a great high flyer as well. This dude shot 50% from the field, 42% from 3. He can do his thing offensively for the Chicago Bulls. And not to mention as well, he's also a great defensive guy. 6'10" with a 7-foot wingspan. He's gonna do his thing defensively. And that's also a thing with Chicago too. They do need a little more defense in there as well. And not to mention, they do need some shooting, because Rob Dillingham, he also plays on this team. That guy needs to grow as a player. And I really hope he's going to be able to do that with the Chicago Bulls. He couldn't do that with the Minnesota Timberwolves, unfortunately, and that was pretty sad, because the Timberwolves that whole team revolved around Anthony Edwards and Rudy Gobert, and he couldn't really grow as a player like that. So now, given the fact that he's on his own team with other youthful stars, I think he's going to be able to grow right there. They're going to be surrounded by a lot more younger guys going into his 3rd season, so he's going to be good. But Caleb Wilson is going to be a problem. Not to mention, this dude had 35 points, shooting 7 for 11 from 3 in his first ever Summer League game. So right off the bat, this dude is going to do his thing. A high flyer. R.I.P. Stacey King, bro. I'm sure he would have been really fun to watch going into Chicago. But Caleb Wilson, welcome to the Chicago Bulls, bro. I think Chicagoans are going to like you, bro. Those were obviously the biggest NBA Summer League standouts, but let's go into the honorable mentions. For the New York Knicks, Tyler Nickel, he's an amazing shooter, averaging 12 points a game, shooting 40% from 3. So the New York Knicks, they do have a lot more shooting, and hopefully they can be able to play their dudes right, because I know Deuce McBride is a great shooter as well. Landry Shamet is a great shooter as well. So we're just adding guards on guards on guards and more shooting on shooting on shooting, when I felt like we should have been looking for a center, given the fact that we should have known that Mitchell Robinson was going to be gone. Now we have acquired Andre Drummond, but, you know, it's not going to be the best rim protection going into next season. But to have more shooting on this team and be able to shoot the ball from 3 is going to be great. And Tyler Nickel, he got the swag. He got the aura. He's been doing his thing in the Summer League. You can't be mad at this kid. The double nickel, he's going to be giving us a bunch of double nickel games. So we will see how great he plays out over there. Cameron Carr also, I think he's one of the biggest steals of the draft. And he doesn't get talked about a lot because he was drafted extremely late. But do y'all see how high this kid jumps? That is ridiculous how high he jumps. Kid from Baylor University. How did he go that low? Well, obviously he went that low because of his frameworks, and coaches didn't think he would be anything. But the way he's been playing in the summer league is gonna actually make them doubt big time going into next season. Obviously, Cameron Carr averaging 18.3 points a game this summer league, 2 rebounds, 1 assist per game. And not just that, he also had a debut scoring 26 points. I think this is going to be pretty scary for the Lakers who are trying to rebuild. And I think he's going to be good for the guy doing just that. So watch out for Cameron Carr going into next season. The Milwaukee Bucks. Trading Giannis is definitely getting to you guys. But Braden Burry is the number 10 overall draft pick. He finished the summer league on a tear, fam. Scoring 20 plus points in 3 consecutive games. And even a game-winning layup against the Philadelphia 76ers. So Bucks fans, they may be a little disappointed right now because they did lose their star player. But they do have a bunch of shooting, a bunch of depth going along with that. And I think Braden Burns can hopefully bring them back into playoff status. Obviously, it may not happen with Giannis because the aura is gone, the swag is gone. But he will try his hardest to make Milwaukee somewhat a playoff contender going into next year. Last but not least, the Cleveland Cavaliers acquiring Malik Thomas. I think of this guy as Vinnie Johnson, the microwave. Detroit Pistons, 1980s. New generation, you guys don't know nothing about this. I'm acting like I'm new generation. I'm only 18 years old. I turned 19 in only 2 days. But I know what Vinnie Johnson was, a microwave. He can heat up at any time of the day. And Malik Thomas was doing the same thing. This dude stole the show in the summer league. Now, even though he couldn't win the championship, he did steal the show. He averaged 27.3 points over his 4 games in Vegas. And this dude was shooting 43.8% from the field. That is ridiculous, fam. So the Cavaliers, they got a lot more shooting right now. They're still a great shooting team. They just missed a whole bunch of shots in the Eastern Conference Finals. They couldn't make a lot of shots. And the only guy who was making a whole lot of those shots was Donovan Mitchell. Sam Merrill was not doing his thing. James Harden was missing shots. So Cleveland, give this guy some minutes, bro. He's going to be able to shoot the long ball for you guys. And I know Donovan Mitchell, he was dealing with an injury throughout the Eastern Conference Finals. He wasn't as explosive as he was before. He couldn't get up from off the ground. And you can tell by the way he was playing that entire series against the Knicks. He needed some help. James Harden wasn't doing that. Evan Mobley was struggling. Jarrett Allen was struggling. But now they have even more shooting. So if everyone could lock in, become great shooters, and not have slumps in the playoffs, then the Cavaliers will be in contender. They just went out the worst way possible. And it was a way that they weren't expecting to go out. Especially after defeating the number 1 seed and they thought they could beat the Knicks, they couldn't. Because of the mental game. That mental game won. Y'all can't let that happen. Anyways, y'all, that's all I got to say today. Honestly, this was a great NBA Summer League. And we've seen a bunch of standouts. And I really think these guys can be able to influence their teams that they're going into the next season. Now, obviously, it is their first NBA season. So, obviously, there's going to be pressure, mental issues, anxiety. But there's no time for that. So, that's exactly why they have the Rookies Youth Program. So, everyone knows what not to do, how to talk to the media and everything like that. But I think these standouts are really good. And I think these guys are going to be able to influence their teams great going into the 27th season. But anyways, y'all, that's all I got to say. God loves you. Jesus is king. Peace out, everybody.